Вітаю, друзі! Наш брифінг присвячений викриттю пропаганди.
Greetings! Our briefing is dedicated to exposing the propaganda and lies of the aggressor state, and we will traditionally start with the statement of one of the former leaders of Russia, Deputy Chairman of the Security Council of Russia Dmitry Medvedev, who in his social network speaks about the existence of Ukraine, both the state and the city of Kyiv, as the capital of sovereign Ukraine. In fact, with his publications, Medvedev confirms the thesis which is known to the whole world, that the war is being waged to destroy Ukraine and genocide the Ukrainian people. In particular, in recent publications, Medvedev questions that the city of Kyiv as the capital of independent Ukraine. I want to remind you of an indisputable fact. Kyiv is the capital of ancient Rus. Kyiv is a large little Russian city in the Russian Empire. Kyiv is the Republican capital of the USSR. Kyiv is a simple Russian city where people always thought and spoke Russian. One can be glad that the governor of even such a great state as Medvedev has no idea about elementary historical events and obviously had a bad grade in school in this subject, since the very state, the capital, which he calls Kyiv, is Kyivan Rus and not ancient Rus. I also emphasized his attempts to humiliate the status of Kyiv as a little Russian city from the history textbooks of other periods of the existence of this city, not as a part of the Russian Empire. Of course, the attempt to demonstrate Kyiv as the capital of Soviet Ukraine casts doubt on the existence of Ukraine in other borders, where it was not connected with the Soviet Union. In this regard, Medvedev's words are once again another proof that the war is being waged to destroy Ukraine as an independent state. It is also possible to refute the words of another collaborator and defector who left Ukraine after the Revolution of Dignity, the former Prime Minister of Ukraine Mykola Azarov, who was outraged by the renaming of the city of Novgorod-Volhynsky, which now is called Zvyagel. He claims that this is another proof of the occupation of Ukraine by Poland. This is a typical training manual of Russia, which justifies the occupation of Ukraine with an argument about the alleged occupation by Poland, which is a lie. It is also a false statement that Novgorod-Volhynsky, the historical name of Zvyagel, a name that existed only during the time of the Commonwealth. In fact, this name has been circulating since the 13th century, when the Commonwealth appeared in the 16th century, and the words are now just another example of propaganda lies. Meanwhile, it is impossible not to note the transformation into Russian propagandists of the thesis that they spread at the beginning of the war, when they claimed that the Ukrainian president was America's puppet. Now it turns out the other way around. They claim that America is already a puppet of the Ukrainian president. One has only to read the headlines of the same Russia Today project, a Russian propaganda project aimed at international media markets. Zelensky is forced in Washington to make decisions that are contrary to US interests. According to an American journalist, the Biden administration is balancing between military support for Ukraine and avoiding anything that could provoke a direct conflict between Russia and the United States. Thus, no longer calling the current president an American puppet, Russia is trying to further humiliate this status in various ways. They cannot accept the fact that Ukraine is a sovereign state and only the Ukrainian people determine who is the head of the Ukrainian state. It is worth noting the great transformation of Russia, which no longer requires the removal of the legitimate Ukrainian leadership. In particular, Putin's spokesperson, Peskov, is quoted as saying that the change of authority in Kyiv is not the goal of a special operation. While at the beginning of the war they claimed completely different, they even called on the Ukrainian military to remove the top Ukrainian political leadership from their posts. Such a change in sentiment can be explained by only one thing: the total defeat of Russia on the battlefield and the absence of any significant results in this military aggression, except for the killing of civilians in Ukraine. Russia cannot accept the fact that the tribunal in The Hague found them guilty of shooting down the Malaysian Boeing. The military Russian propagandist Kots in his Telegram channel begins to spread the fake version that this shot, fatal to the aircraft, was fired from the territory controlled by the Ukrainian military, which is not true. On Russia Today, they again give a platform. It seems that the former intelligence officer of America, Scott Ritter, whom they constantly invite to the air, who at one time was convicted in America for crimes of a sexual nature and even served a sentence for them, once again proves that Russia does not have competent and reputable people who could speak the fake versions of events needed in Russia. Therefore, they resort to the services of such characters. At the end of the briefing, I want to traditionally remind you, do not trust Russian propaganda, but only Ukrainian media, the Ukrainian teleson, Ukrainian local authorities, military and political leadership. See you.